Hello everyone, we are going to start the Ask Me Anything live with April Hatch from Cannabis Care team. I have invited her to the group, so just kind of waiting for her. Feel free to start asking questions and I will be here to help. Let's see if I can see the comments. How's everyone doing on this fine Thursday? It was pretty crazy for us at Elevate. We have a lot of renewals coming in for Missouri and Oklahoma patients just this week in general. So it has been super fun getting to know everyone again, getting everybody legal. Hi guys, April, girlfriend, where you at? We've got to learn about the Cannabis Care team. So one of the add-ons we have at Elevate Holistics, whenever you get your renewal or original appointment through Elevate, you can talk to one of the cannabis nurses for free. You can talk to one of our pharmacists. You can talk to all kinds of people. I am doing holistic wellness consultations right now for those that are just looking to expand kind of, what they're using to get better. Okay, she says she's here. Okay. Okay, I invited you, so it should let you hop in. Is there a green, join live button? Oh. So I have an option to bring Jeremiah Edwards on camera, and that is it. Renewals are only $75, and if you would like our help with the state application, it's a full service option we do, so it is $30. Yeah, and that doesn't go toward the state fee. It basically is just, we're going to log into your account, we're going to make sure everything looks right so you get approved the first time, and I know it can be kind of annoying getting rejected from the state, and then your license expires and you're kind of in that weird predicament. So we are there to help. Yeah, maybe April, if you exit the live and just go to your regular Facebook notifications, you'll see that I invited you. Hi Corey. Hi Jeremiah. I'm doing great. Just got my nails done, so feeling all fun. Just went to the chiropractor too, so I'm definitely going to be hydrating during this little talk here. I'm a little bit sore. What are you guys doing tonight? What are you doing while you watch? Are you eating dinner? Are you guys using your medicinal cannabis? Are you hanging out by your plants? Tell me about your grow. I love hearing about grows. Tomorrow's the weekend. I'm very excited. Going to St. Louis, gonna hang out with my family. They miss me a lot. I don't come home as often as I said I would, when I moved away, but I think that just kind of happens to everyone. Life, jobs, friends. Where's everyone from? St. Louis, Kansas City. Right now I'm in Kansas City, Missouri. I've been in Missouri my whole life, though. Oh, Daniela, thanks for the review. Easy to use, happy you got approved. Very, very exciting. Dispensary locations opening. Yes, they should be open in a few weeks. So a lot of grows are done. Dispensaries are opening. They are open without product, but they should have product by the end of October, if not November. We are actually partnered with a few people that are going to be opening most definitely by the end of the year. Independence. Yes, Karen. Same girl. Kind of like Blue Springs Lake. I love that little walk path. Is it with DHSS? Yes, Heidi. So all you'll have to do is go to your MMP account at mo-public.mycomplia.com. You will then go to the Applications tab on the left, click on that, create new application. I know you're already a patient, but just trust me on this one. And then you'll do patient update. So instead of create new application renewal, you'll do patient update. And then you'll have 8 options for what you want to do, whether you want to add more ounces to your limit, whether you want to change the option to grow, which you do, Heidi. So you're just going to select that, add on the growing option, and then I think it's $102 with tax whenever you add on cultivation alone. Go Chiefs. Yes, I was never a football fan until I moved here, of course. All right, April is back. Let's add about the Cannabis Care team. Yes!
Oh my gosh. So I've been on my computer, everyone, trying to get on, and I got called Russell, and he's like, don't do it from your computer, do it from your phone. So I am so sorry, everyone.
Yeah, so something about going live in a group. I'm echoing really bad. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine.
I'll try talking again. Okay, I think it's better. Okay. Surface.
How's that?
Much better. Okay, that's perfect. Oh, I can actually still hear myself really bad, but you sound better.
Okay. All right. So is everyone, so we have 8 people on, is that right? So can everyone see me?
I'm seeing 11. Do you guys hear the echo? If it's just me, I'll ignore it. It's every time I talk, my sentence goes on for like 2 minutes, and I'm like, oh, I sound like. Anybody hearing echo? Where'd my Casey go?
Okay, so thank you, Allison, for having me on. I'm sorry, everyone, about the technical issues. But I really appreciate you guys having me on tonight. I really appreciate everything that Elevate does for patients, honestly. I don't know if anyone knows this or if you mentioned this at the beginning, but all of the patients who go through Elevate have the option to schedule a free 15-minute consultation with me. And so a lot of times, that's patients who are just getting started with cannabis and have a lot of questions. But sometimes patients also are asking, like, okay, when are the dispensaries opening? How do I find a caregiver? Maybe they've used cannabis for a long time and they want to know, how to get more of those medical benefits from it. So it's been a great opportunity to reach a lot of people. And, you guys do an awesome job. I mean, everybody tells me that you guys are wonderful and all of your physicians are wonderful. So thanks, Elevate, for that.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we definitely go out of our way to make sure people aren't, confused or lost or feeling like, with it being a completely virtual process, it can be just kind of confusing and intimidating. So that's why we're here.
Yes. Yeah. So I was talking to Russell the other day about what we were going to talk about tonight, and just, we're talking about how kind of crazy it was right now. I mean, number 1, Corona. Okay, number 2, the election. Number 3, October for a lot of people. And then at the same time, all of these dispensaries are getting ready to open, hopefully. And it's a mess. It is crazy. And so, I think it's just an important time that we all kind of talk about, what our plan is for self-care. How are we taking care of ourselves? So that's really what I want to talk about tonight. Does that sound like a good topic?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about, let's say I added a cannabis nurse consultation. What should I expect?
Absolutely. So when you add that cannabis nurse consultation, you do receive a link and where you go to our website, Cannabis Care Team, to schedule that. And so you'll schedule that. I'm the primary nurse who does those, although I do work with another nurse and a registered dietitian, which is awesome. There are just some things that I can't help patients with yet. And registered dietitians are amazing at what they do, and she's awesome. Her name is Dawn Privet. And then we're actually getting ready to add a licensed therapist. So I've got this whole team of amazing people who help patients. But honestly, most patients who call me who are just getting started with cannabis, they tell me two things, right? It's, well, I don't want to smoke and I don't want to get high. And I'm, that's the fear for a lot of new people getting started with cannabis. And so talking a lot about delivery methods, what to expect. I talk a lot about dosing. Everyone's endocannabinoid system is a little bit different, which is then why self-care is so important. You can help heal your endocannabinoid system. We're talking about, sometimes patients have a couple of conditions and they want to find out the best strain. Honestly, because strains are so different depending on the grower, I'm really talking to them about the best cannabinoids and the best terpenes for their condition. Of course, everything that I tell them is completely based on science. I read a ton of research articles. And it's a lot, and they're very, if you're not used to that, they can be really difficult to understand. So what I try to do is try to take that information and share it with other people on what science, what we can actually show, what the terpenes are able to do. And as you know, terpenes are in whole plants, right? And so sometimes we have more of that research from other sciences like food research and things like that. So that's kind of, it's really individualized, and there are patients who schedule like longer consultation with me. There are patients who I follow up with, sometimes every 2 weeks. When someone has really been suffering for a long time, they need, they're just honestly, they're so happy that they can talk to a healthcare professional about cannabis without feeling judged or without being told that it's a bad idea.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like there's a few patients who just want someone to talk to, and that's fine. Then there's some patients who, we're really trying to fine tune their dose. As you know, for patients who have cancer, they're really trying to get up to a very high dose to try and help treat that cancer. And so, of course, that's best done with your traditional therapies as well. But when someone's trying to get up to 1,200 milligrams of THC a day, that takes a lot of education and support. So it's totally individualized based on what the patients need.
Yes. Will you tell us a little bit about high CBD strains and one-to-one ratios? You mentioned that people don't want to get high, and that is usually the first thing that comes to mind when it comes to consuming marijuana or, not wanting to smoke. So could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so really, so I'm a member of the Society for Cannabis Clinicians, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to get some more research going. And what they want to look at is they want to look at a strain that's a one-to-one strain, because from what we know and what we've seen, that you get medical benefits from those one-to-one strains. Now, if you're trying to treat severe nausea and vomiting, that may be different cannabinoids, and that may be a different amount of THC if you're trying to do more specific treatment. But in general, you get the most medical benefits from one. So Unfortunately, a lot of dispensaries are not. I go to a lot of dispensaries in Oklahoma. They're like a couple one-to-one strains. Um, now in Missouri, we're seeing some dispensaries with just CBD strains, which is cool, and I hope they do continue to carry those. But patients are most often having to buy the strain of THC and then buy a CBD strain and then mix it themselves. Either,
Yeah,
however they're
that's kind
using
of a way
it.
to get around it. That's awesome.
Yeah, and again, it's really about those terpenes as well. So if there's a CBD strain that has a lot of like beta caryophyllene, and you're really looking for those anti-inflammatory benefits, get that. And then if it just depends on what the person is really looking for. So.
Very cool. So tell us a little bit about the Cannabis Care team approach when it comes to, I know you don't just say, all right, smoke a lot of weed and have a good time. Like, I know you guys have this whole self-care approach. So tell me a little bit about that and how incorporating an entire lifestyle is involved in, the beginning of the consumption process.
Yeah, absolutely. Cannabis is really a miraculous medication. It's a miraculous plant, but it's not the cure-all, end-all. So many of our conditions are related to how we eat, our lack of exercise. We just don't have time to take care of ourselves. It's not like just individual people, it's everybody. I mean, it's society today. It's the fact that we have a smartphone in our hands all the time. So, when patients come to me and think that cannabis is going to do everything for them, I hate to be the one to break bad news, but if someone's suffering a lot of GI issues, I'm going to talk to them about diet. If they're suffering migraines, again, I'm going to talk to them about diet, and I'm going to talk to them about self-care. So it's really a wide range of things. It's diet, again, is so important. And all of these things are important for the health of our endocannabinoid system. But exercise, and it doesn't have to be like crazy going to the gym 6 hours a week, lifting weights or anything like that, but just exercise that you enjoy. So when I first, meet with a patient, I want them to think about what exercises or what activities do you enjoy where you get your heart, working a little bit faster, where you have to open your mouth to breathe. What are those activities? Is it cleaning your house? So it's kind of different for everybody. So I, have the patient decide what they want their exercise to be. I'm not going to tell them you need to do 100 jumping jacks a day, right? Because that doesn't work. People aren't going to do what I tell them to do. So then stress management. I mean, how are people managing their stress? So I don't know if you can hear. I've got 3 dogs. One of them barks all the time. Honestly, you might be able to hear that. What if you stress management? Honestly, it's so important. Even if it's just 20 minutes a day. It doesn't have to be meditating. It can be whatever you enjoy, whatever helps you relax. So important to make time for those things. Again, in a super stressful time, like right now.
Yes. How can we reduce stress? I know there are some really great foods out there just for inflammation and kind of getting rid of physical pain. How can diet change our mental pain?
Yes, that's a really good question. So right now, the majority of Americans get a lot of omega-6 fatty acids, and we need to balance those out more with omega-3 fatty acids. So like the omega-6 fatty acids, beef and things like that, but we need more of those good fatty acids because they're neuroprotective. They do so many good things for our brain and for our stress levels and for our cortisol levels and everything. But we need to eat more nuts if we're not allergic. We need to eat more of the healthy oils, like coconut oil, and cook with healthier fats. Prebiotics and probiotics I'm actually sharing a video next week on our YouTube channel. I did it's an interview I did with Brenda McClanahan, this amazing woman. She shared her story with me one night, telling me about how she had been sick her whole life. And then finally, she decided to advocate for herself and learn how diet could be causing all these problems she'd been having. And it was all related to diet. It was all related to poor gut health. And our gut affects how we feel. It affects how our mind works. So prebiotics, those green leafy foods, those things with high fiber. Probiotics, we need those. Dark chocolate,
Yes.
is a good thing. Flavonoids, flavonoids are in cannabis, but oftentimes we think of flavonoids being like blueberries and wine and dark chocolate, right? But those are good for you. And there's terpenes, like I said, in everything, right? So if you want beta carothylene, you don't just have to get it from cannabis, and then, black pepper, cloves. There's so many things that beta carothylene is in. And like you mentioned, turmeric is huge. They call that liquid gold because it has so many beneficial, they believe that it does a lot more than just reduce inflammation. They believe it really helps someone extend their life. And honestly, when you think about the fact that 80% of our medical conditions or medical problems are related to inflammation, they're probably right, because turmeric reduces that inflammation. Stroke, heart disease, diabetes, all of that can ultimately.
Right. I think a lot of people are quick to say, oh, my family history or, this and that, but 80% of it is going to be your lifestyle and every single choice that you make a day. I think you make 30,000 decisions a day. So, take some of those more seriously, the bigger ones, what you eat, what you're going to, do before work. Are you going to have a coffee and sit down? Or are you going to, walk down a part of the neighborhood you haven't before? It's good to keep your mind stimulated.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be like a huge lifestyle change all at once. Sometimes it's just like replacing like one behavior or like making one change a day, or if it's just like adding turmeric to your food, like in your meals when you cook them. Yeah, or just like, okay, instead of sitting on the couch and having a coffee, I'm going to walk to the mailbox, or walk to the end of the block and back with my coffee. It's just these simple things. And then once you do those things and you feel the rewards from them because you feel better, then you'll want to do more of them and you'll stick with it.
Yes, exactly. We had a question come through a minute ago about topicals and if they're going to be in dispensaries this year. I'm going to personally say probably not. But how can we make our own topicals? How can we, have cannabis target, our inflammation, our pain with just, buying the bud?
Yeah. So I am super excited for dispensaries to open, but they will just have flower when they do first open. So we'll have to learn how to make all those things ourselves, right? So there are tons of topicals. There's like lotions and ointments and transdermal gels. So just a couple things that people do need to know about them. So like salves and lotions and ointments, and this they say transdermal, are really not going to get too far below the skin. So those are going to be really good for like superficial issues. If you have a rash, if you have a bug bite, occasionally they will get down to some of that muscular pain and help relieve it. But the transdermal gels are going to be what really can get to your bloodstream and provide, the most benefit. So the transdermals, of course, you always want to put those on your wrist or on a place where you can see your veins. Those work best and get to the spot you want them to go to quickest that way. But yeah, there's so many ways that you can take the flower and you can put it into coconut oil or, a different kind of oil. And this is one of my favorite things. It's a CBD oil. And so CBD actually absorbs into the skin 10 times better than THC. But this stuff is awesome and it smells really good. So it might not be relaxing the muscle that I want it to be, but the smell of it, and I think it does help. honestly.
It's an all-around like therapeutic. Yes, I will actually put peppermint essential oils, like, after a chiropractor if I'm having a headache. And I mean, I know deep down it's not technically going to work, but the placebo gets me there. And I'm like, okay, that peppermint, it's clearing, it kind of gets rid of like the mental pain.
Yeah. And that's huge. I mean, because so many people are suffering mental pain, and it's the little things like that, even if it's just me taking this oil and kind of like rubbing it on my shoulder for a few minutes or like 10 seconds. I mean, maybe even that rubbing it on my shoulder helps relieve some of that tightness in my shoulder.
Yes, yes. Or just like focusing your energy. The fact that our bodies are so in tune to know that if you're eating unhealthy, you're going to be depressed. I mean, our bodies really can just tell when we're giving ourselves love.
Yeah. Can you guys hear my dogs? My dogs are giving me love right now.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So the topicals, I think overall in general, they're really good for some people to start with. A lot of my patients, and I'm sorry about my dogs, but a lot of my patients are, like I said, scared to feel any psychoactive effects. So that's something that they often like to start with.
Yes. How much CBD oil do you use topically? We had a question on kind of how to use it.
Yeah, so I consume more CBD orally than most people probably do, and I probably put it on there's so many different things. So I have this this face therapy too. This is from sitting at my desk because I use them daily. So this is an MCT oil. I'm looking for a dose, how many milligrams it is. I can't remember how many milligrams is in what she told me, but
that's okay.
But start with a small amount, if you're worried about it, but CBD doesn't have any psychoactive effects. So even if it did reach your bloodstream, it's not going to cause, a lot of negative side effects.
Or a positive drug test or something like that.
It should not. No, a transdermal gel, maybe.
If it gets down into the bloodstream. You gotta go hush the babies.
I'll be right back. Hold on.
What other questions do you guys have for April? I know we've talked a lot about diet, just self-care, and how to use CBD, how can people contact you after the live, or if they do want to book an appointment?
Yeah, so we tried to make it really easy. So you can email nurse@cannabiscareteam.com. You can go to our website, cannabiscareteam.com, and book services. There's like 8 different services that you can book, but I always have everyone start with the 15-minute free consultation, because that's going to give you an idea of what I could do for the patient. And then you can always call 1-888-810-WELL. And that's another way that you can schedule that. But there's the individual patient consultations that I love, and I love them so much because I get, I hear all those awesome success stories that, most nurses and most people like you, Aspen, live for, right? Knowing that we're actually helping.
Yes.
But we are doing a lot of other things to help people in the industry as well. So, as I said, I spend a lot of time in Oklahoma. There's 2,500 dispensaries down there, and a lot of them opened within like 60 days and did not have any time to train their staff. They are hiring so many people that most people that are hiring aren't experienced with cannabis. So we've been spending a lot of time in Oklahoma, not only teaching staff, but patient educational events, which is super cool because COVID, that has really, we haven't been able to do many of those things, but it's, been really cool to spend some time down there and focus on some different things. So not only do we teach the patient, we're teaching others as well.
Yes, absolutely. Oklahoma's industry is so interesting to me too. And Karen, to answer your question, April, feel free to chime in. She asked if any strains are better to use in topicals than others, and I was just going to kind of suggest something with high in limonene, myrcene, linalool, those lavendery lemon kush. I feel like those are going to be more anti-inflammation, and that's kind of what you're going for with the topical. Thoughts on that?
So I would say, the nose knows, right? And I always say that. So if you're in a store or in a dispensary and you're wanting to buy a strain for a topical, I mean, honestly, pick what smells good to you, because that probably means your body needs it, whether it's internally or externally. That would be my only suggestion.
That's true. Something fun I actually learned about your nose. So if you are smelling strains and someone's like, oh, this is sativa, this is indica, and you kind of get impacted differently by, smoking different strains. If you smell it at the top, it's apparently sativa. The bottom is indica, and then if you smell it like full nose sensation, it's a hybrid.
Wow, I've never heard that. Send me send me whatever you have on that, because that's interesting. I want to read that.
Interpening University.
Oh, okay.
Max Montrose.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh my gosh. So I went to Colorado like the other weekend, and I was like, okay, let's test it out. And you were like, oh, you can't smell anything right now because of COVID. And I'm like, what?
I know, which is really unfortunate. So it'll probably be like that in Missouri when they open. They have.
I didn't even think about that. Yes, you're absolutely right.
So if there's certain plants that people really like, I know some people don't like lavender, which is really odd to me, because I love the way lavender smells. But if you don't like lavender, don't buy something that has a lot of linalool in it. I don't know who could hate the smell like oranges or lemons or anything like that. But if it's not your favorite, maybe avoid those strains.
Yeah.
It's
so say you go to a dispensary and the bud tender is like, I have no idea what a terpene is. I have no idea what is in this plant. It is called OG Kush, and it is for you. Okay, so then, what should someone do? Should they ask for a lab report? Should they, where do you go from there?
Well, I probably wouldn't spend any money in a store if a bud tender said that to me. But I would ask for the certificate of analysis. And unfortunately, I have been in dispensaries where they've been like, what's that? So if they do that, again, the money there. A lot of times they have it, they just have to pull it up on their computer, or have to make a copy of it or something. I'm going to tell you all the terpenes, but also the cannabinoids and everything. And honestly, so, I have my journal, which I give to all my patients, but, when patients are writing down effects that they, felt from a certain strain, I want them to be stapling that COA on that page, or I want them to be able to look back, this strain really helped me. I want them to be able to develop a treatment plan based on the terpenes or the cannabinoids that they felt the most benefit from. So I think everybody
absolutely
should get those when they buy something.
Yes. So I feel like we've got a lot of the questions. We know what the Cannabis Care team is about. We've met the founder. Do you mind dropping the information on how people can book an appointment, or just that phone number too at the last comment?
Yeah. So, nurse@cannabiscareteam.com. I actually respond to that email. So if anyone has any questions about anything I've said tonight, or questions about self-care or what we do or anything, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer questions. 888-810-WELL, which is actually 9355 is the best way to get a hold of us. You can go to our website and schedule. And we've got this awesome YouTube channel. I think it's pretty awesome, although it's really just a bunch of videos of me talking in this room. But so we're uploading that video I mentioned with Brenda later or next week, and we're going to have some cool interviews and some cool educational information on there. So watch us on YouTube, and we've got Instagram and Facebook, all that jazz.
Yes. Drop it all. We're going to drop a link to your Facebook group. Make sure everyone likes that. I'm sure you go live and do, education spiels all the time.
Yes, I try.
I know, don't we all?
It took me a while. I was not going to do it, but honestly, with COVID, it's like I had to because we couldn't leave our houses, and I needed to be like engaged with people, and that was the way for me to do it. So.
Yes, I get it. And then it's always like a little bit nerve-wracking right before you go on, and then you go on and you're like, oh wait, I know everyone on here.
It's like a group call with all my friends.
Yes, exactly. But they don't get to talk. Well, it was great to see you. If you guys think of anything else, drop it in the comments. I'm sure April will be keeping up with this. I'll look at it too. Special thanks to everyone.
Okay, so I do actually have two more things, Aspen, and I'm sorry. So they're getting ready to send some press releases out about first grand opening dispensary days and things like that. So I forward those to all of my patients. So if you go on our website or send me an email, we can add you to our list and we will send those announcements out to you. And then I'm also looking for patients who are willing to be interviewed by the media because of some of those grand opening events. The media will be there, and they've asked that I bring patients. So if there's anybody who wants to be interviewed by the media about how cannabis has helped them, reach out to Nurse at CannabisCare.com.
Yes, come out of the green closet. It is time.
Wonderful out here.
It is great. There's a whole community waiting for you with open arms, I promise. All right, well, thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your night and weekend. We will chat soon.
All right, sorry it took me so long to get on, guys. Good night.
Oh, technical difficulties, part of life. Bye, everyone.